Today I'm doing intro to E Collar. This is this pup's first E Collar session. What I'm doing now is finding the dog's working level. The way I do that is to create just a little pressure on the leash, and I am slowly dialing up using the red continuous button on an E Collar Mini Educator. And when the dog gives me his attention and looks at me, I give a reward. What I'm teaching the dog is away from me is pressure. Toward me is no pressure. Dogs are always going to move away from a negative and toward a positive. Now when I'm doing this, I want to make sure that I am not changing the dog's behavior in any way. I'm just trying to get that look you saw right there, where he feels a little weird feeling on his neck. And when he looks at me, that feeling immediately goes away. I'm putting myself in a position of leadership with this dog. I'm going to keep moving the dog around me, doing that same technique. Anytime there's pressure on the leash, I use a little pressure with the remote collar. You'll see the dog's already starting to look at me there. On that little move, I blocked him, walked in front of him, and forced that inside turn. You can see he's looking at me. He doesn't really know me. This is our first session. And so I'm going really slow. I want to make sure that I don't change his behavior in any way or put too much pressure on him. A little chew on the leash, I just give him a no and he stops. So now I'm going to start working him into a heel position. And I'm doing the same technique. If I feel pressure on the leash or feel tightness on the leash, tension on the leash, I am slowly dialing up until he catches up with me and the tension goes away. What you see here is he puts on the brakes and starts giving some back pressure against that leash. I don't pull him. I just keep that tension very lightly on the leash, and I use the remote collar to slowly dial up to a level that makes him move toward me. As soon as he makes the littlest move and relieves that pressure, I let off the button. He comes to me and I reward. Here I'm just checking the collar to make sure it has a good fit. What happens is when you put them on dogs, they puff their neck up, and sometimes as we work, as the dog relaxes, the collar gets a little loose. I just want to make sure it's making a good connection. So I'm going to do this back and forth, walking into a heel. It's called picking the dog up. Now we're going to work on place. Keep in mind the session with this dog, this first session, was only about 7 minutes to do all of this. First sessions, you want to keep them short. You want to make sure the dog understands what you're asking it to do and don't rush. So here what I'm doing is just acclimating him to the cot. I want him just to step across it on his own. I'm not using any remote collar or anything like that. I am simply just waiting on him, giving a little leash pressure, reward when he steps on it. Even if he puts one foot on it or runs across it, I give him a reward. I'm going to do this several times till I know he is 100% comfortable getting on it. He's still a little suspicious. You'll know when he's comfortable here in a minute. He'll give me a look. He'll look up at me, and I'll know we can start the remote collar. I'm going to do it one more time. Got a little look there. Good. Looks are very important. No look. We're going to come around again. Him checking in with me is him letting me know, like, hey, I get this. We have a connection here. Until I get that, I'm not going to use the remote collar to get him on place. I'll walk him on again. A little unsure. Again, until I know he's 100% comfortable stepping on this, I'm not using the remote collar at all. Now we got to check in. See the ears go back. He let me pet him, and you see his body position change. And so now I'm going to hold the button until he steps on place, all 4 feet on place, then the button goes away. It doesn't matter at this point if he steps off or not. We're just trying to get him to go across it. What I'm doing is on the floor, I'm creating a slight bit of pressure with the remote collar, very little. And then as he steps onto place, that pressure, that feeling goes away. So it's almost like the lava game you played as a kid, like the floor is lava. I'm creating a slight negative standing on the floor. I give the place command and then use the leash to guide him onto place, and then the pressure goes away. Now I will say in the beginning I do give I'll say points for partial wins. So if he just puts 2 feet on there or a foot, I'm going to go ahead and reward him.